Section 1, The Suez Assignment. The Red Sea stretched before my patrol vessel like a wound in the earth's flesh, its waters the color of old blood under the dying Egyptian sun. As Commander Marcus Harrison, I'd been assigned to investigate shipping disruptions near the Suez Canal with a crew that represented the Navy's finest, Lieutenant Sofia Torres, whose analytical mind had cracked codes that left NSA analysts bewildered, Chief Petty Officer Daniel Burke, who could hear a shrimp's heartbeat through his sonar equipment, Ensign James Kim, barely 25 but gifted with an almost supernatural sense of navigation, Petty Officer Raj Singh, whose communication skills extended beyond mere electronics into something approaching precognition, and Seaman Lisa Roberts, an engineering prodigy who spoke to machines as others might to lovers. Our classified mission seemed routine: monitor suspected smuggling operations causing merchant vessels to report mysterious course deviations. Yet the local fishermen in port said harbored a different truth in their weathered faces, crossing themselves when we mentioned our patrol sector, whispering, Bar al-Mawt, the Sea of Death. An ancient mariner, his eyes clouded with cataracts that seemed to swirl like miniature galaxies, gripped my wrist with surprising strength. The tablets found by divers 40 years ago, they warned us. Some depths refuse to remain unplumbed, Commander. Some gods prefer their slumber undisturbed. Section 2, The Abandoned Dhow. 3 nights of uneventful patrol had lulled us into dangerous complacency when Burke's voice crackled over the intercom. Contact, bearing 270. It's Christ, it's just drifting. The Egyptian dhow materialized from the darkness like a phantom, its wooden hull gleaming with an unnatural phosphorescence under our searchlights. No life signs registered on our scanners, yet as Torres and I boarded, we found evidence of recent habitation: coffee still steaming in cups, a cigarette burning in an ashtray, the radio playing static-filled music that seemed to whisper words just beyond comprehension. The captain's log ended mid-sentence: "It rises with the moon." Below deck, Kim's flashlight illuminated something that froze my blood. The interior hull had been carved with symbols, ancient hieroglyphs intertwined with desperate scratches made by human fingernails, telling a story of terror beyond rational understanding. Singh attempted contact with the dhow's last port but received only transmissions in what he swore was Coptic, though the language had been dead for centuries. As we investigated, Roberts reported from our vessel, "Sir, we've got a massive sonar contact. It's circling both ships." The moment she spoke, my vision blurred, my nose began to bleed, and Torres grabbed the bulkhead as vertigo struck us simultaneously. The compass in my hand spun wildly, and through the porthole, I witnessed stars reflected in the water where no stars should be, as if the sea itself had opened windows to alien skies. Section 3, The Deep Echo. Back aboard our vessel, reality itself seemed to rebel against natural law. Burke's sonar painted impossible pictures, rhythmic pulses from the depths that Singh recognized as bearing the cadence of ancient Coptic funeral chants, though twisted into frequencies that made our teeth ache. "Commander," Kim whispered, his face pale in the green glow of malfunctioning navigation screens, "the computers are showing maps that shouldn't exist, coastlines that vanished millennia ago." Roberts burst onto the bridge, her engineering uniform soaked with sweat despite the night's chill. "Sir, I was on watch. The water, it's wrong." Perfect circles of absolute calm, and fishing boats in the distance, their crews just standing there, staring down into the water like statues. That night, Torres came to my quarters, her normally steady hands trembling as she showed me her sketches, detailed drawings of underwater temples she'd seen in dreams that felt more like memories, ceremonial chambers where robed figures with empty eye sockets turned to watch her arrival. The true horror struck when I realized each crew member had been unconsciously drawing the same symbol, a pre-dynastic hieroglyph that my research identified as meaning, the drowned god who dreams. Singh's communications equipment began receiving transmissions from depths where no technology should exist, voices speaking in languages that predated human civilization, all repeating variations of the same phrase: "The covenant is remembered. The price comes due." Section 4, The Rising. Under the pregnant full moon, the Red Sea transformed into a canvas of otherworldly horror. What began as a soft luminescence beneath our hull erupted into a brilliant display of underwater architecture rising from impossible depths, cyclopean structures that challenged not only physics but sanity itself. Burke's sonar screens erupted in cascading warnings as his equipment struggled to process the sheer scale of what ascended. "Commander, these readings, they suggest structures larger than any human construction, moving upward at a steady rate." Through the ethereal glow, the abandoned dhow reappeared like a messenger from hell itself, its deck now manned by figures that moved with the jerky, unnatural motion of marionettes, the original crew, their eyes reflecting not light but an internal luminescence that spoke of consciousness residing elsewhere. Kim began speaking in fluent Old Kingdom Egyptian, his young face contorted into expressions of ancient gravitas as words poured from him: the compact of the first sailors, the price of safe passage, the tribute long forgotten. Torres grabbed my arm, her nails digging crescents into my flesh. "Marcus, look at the water." Around us, the sea spiraled into a vast maelstrom that defied every known current pattern of the Red Sea, and from its center emerged appendages that mocked natural biology, tentacles of living stone, inscribed with hieroglyphs that writhed and changed as we watched, telling stories of civilizations that chose the sea over the stars, of bargains struck when humanity was young, of a hunger that time itself could not diminish. Section 5, The Agreement. In that moment of cosmic terror, as the entity's full form breached dimensions to tower impossibly above our vessel, I understood with crystal clarity the weight of command, not just of my ship, but of humanity's continued right to sail these ancient waters. Torres, speaking in tongues that human vocal cords shouldn't accommodate, became our translator as the being's thoughts invaded our minds like ice water, showing us visions of the Red Sea's true nature, a membrane between realities, supervised by an intelligence older than the Earth itself. Through Singh's fevered transcription of Torres' words, we learned the terrible truth: modern shipping had violated primordial agreements, treating the sea as property rather than borrowed passage. The entity showed me glimpses of maritime disasters throughout history, each one a collection of debt unpaid. With Burke confirming our engines were at full power yet achieving no movement, I made the only decision that could save not just my crew but perhaps global maritime trade itself: we accept the ancient terms. The negotiation that followed exists now only in classified reports that admirals refuse to believe, coordinates that must remain empty, offerings to be made under each full moon, acknowledgement of sovereignties older than nations. As the entity descended, taking the transformed dhow crew as emissaries to depths uncharted, I felt the weight of secrets that would define the remainder of my career. Monthly, I return alone to those coordinates, dropping carefully prepared offerings into waters that briefly pulse with bioluminescent acknowledgement. My crew scattered to distant postings, each carrying nightmares that no therapy can address. Robert sends me sketches sometimes, detailed drawings of the inscriptions we saw, translations she somehow understands. The sea remembers. The depths hunger. The covenant holds. In the deepest classified vaults of naval intelligence, my report gathers dust, labeled as stress-induced hallucination despite the sonar recordings, the video evidence that corrupts upon viewing, and the fact that ships following our recommended course changes report unprecedented safe passage. Some nights, when sleep eludes me, I feel the entity's consciousness brush against mine, a reminder that our species sails at the sufferance of powers we can barely comprehend, and that some ancient debts can never truly be paid, only deferred.